In today's episode, I had the honor of chatting with my dear friend and soul sister, Victoria. Victoria is a passionate woman who really cares about justice, and she brings a lot of hope and sacred wisdom to the table. Hello. Thanks for joining us again for Fierce Feminine Magic. I am with Victoria today, and we are going to just be having another casual and fun conversation where we can just really dig into, the juicy bits of our own personal fire and passion. And Victoria is someone who I connected with some time ago, and we've been in sisterhood circles together, and I just really appreciate the insight that she has to share and where she comes from. So let me just pass it over to Victoria. And Victoria, will you just start by sharing with us what inspired you to join this conversation? I know I put a call out there, and I was like, hey, my sisters who are passionate women, let's get together and share some of our fire. So, just let us know a bit about why you're, here, and what inspired you to tune into this convo, and we'll take it from there.
Absolutely. So first of all, Amber, thank you so much for having me. I feel completely honored that you'd invite me to be here. So how I came to agree to speaking about my fire and things like that. You put out the call, and I just felt the urge to agree. So I just have a deep passion for, oh my goodness, like right now I'm in this transitionary space of social justice, restorative justice. I recently found out that the position that I hold at work will be passing, and that's great. For many reasons. For 15 plus years, I have worked in the capacity of serving children and women in the community and helping them to raise the vibration of who they are, and to getting into anchoring into themselves by way of addiction, parenting.
Yeah.
So I'm in the city working with these families, and I've had such a deep fire to do that on a daily basis for so many years that, and if you'll excuse me, I have a little puppy over here.
Oh, that's okay.
Say hi. Ellie, come say hi. Come say hi. Gosh.
Oh my goodness, what a sweet little lover. Oh, what a fluff ball.
I love her so much. Okay, you go outside. Go outside, Mom. Oh my gosh. Talk about interruption, but
That's all right. It's easy peasy. I could have a child pop in. We're just two women sitting around having a conversation. No biggie.
So yeah, when you had put the call out, I had just gotten some news about my position no longer existing come December 31st. And part of me felt, if we're gonna get really honest here, I felt raped.
Oh, yeah.
Really, in December, a time of celebration and family coming together, and we work in a therapeutic community. I'm out in the field working with these families at a therapeutic level to help them overcome addiction, overcome the obstacles that they face on a daily basis in terms of parenting.
Such important work, such needed work.
Yeah, it's beautiful work. I love it. It's so transformative. In essence, when I come to initially work with a client, it pretty much is ugly. At first, it's really dark. It's
Yeah.
really gross. It's disgusting, quite frankly.
Yeah.
But and I smile about that because there's such deep beauty in helping them to wake up, to rise up, and to find who they are, and that they can overcome anything.
Oh,
Love it.
I got goosebumps. I got chills over my whole body when you're speaking just now, because I love that you know that you have that passion and that fire and also that experience, but you have that knowing that they can overcome anything. And what a gift that is that you bring into the situation energetically in the work that you've been doing, you know, to have such dark, ugly situations and to have someone show up. I mean, I just imagine you kind of like an angel coming into the situation with that grace of knowing that it can all be okay. That doesn't mean it's easy. That, you know, it's gonna take work. It's gonna take commitment.
Ouchies. I touched the ouchie.
You touched the ouchie. Yeah, absolutely. And it needs to be touched. So, wow, it's big.
We don't want to touch our ouchies. We want to ignore them. We want to deflect and move anywhere but there.
Yeah.
But that's where the beauty is.
Yeah.
That's where if we touch it and we get into there and move it around and say, it's okay to feel that. Let's not get stuck there, though. Let's not be stuck in that icky. Let's move beyond. Let's feel it, transform it. It's like getting into a garden and just digging that dirt up and then planting those seeds. I call myself a seed planter, really.
I love that. I love that.
Sick. But yeah, so I mean, it's grimy, it's icky, but we can wash all that dirt away. And there's that ebb and the flow. You know, I get people to a space where they're flowing and they, you know, they're overcoming, and then they think that, oh, it's over. That's great. Like, thank you so much for your help. And I'm like, no, there's extended work here. We have to keep going at it.
Yeah. You can't just, if you just plant a seed and don't give it any nurturing, because we use that analogy, then it's not going to go anywhere. It's tending. It needs all the right things, and the work has to continue to be done. So in a lot of ways, you know, we in a lot of the spiritual sisterhood communities that I've been involved in, people talk a lot about shadow work. That's like a big term that's used a lot. And it sounds like, you know, you're not using that term. You're really, one of the things that you're doing there is helping women to tap into that shadow work so they can touch those ouchies and bring in, you know, new seeds of light, of hope, of truth, of whatever it is, to shift things too. I love that. Absolutely. But back to what you said about feeling raped, you know, that, so this job that you've been doing for how long?
Oh my goodness. I've been in some sort of social work for at least 17 to 20 years.
Yeah. So this job is coming to a close. This is going to be done for you soon.
Yeah, so
share some more about that. I mean, you know, anything you want to, how you feel or how it came about, or just anything that's on your heart to share about that.
So in essence, it's time. I mean, it's really time for me to move along and to carve a new path. I suppose I feel that in the work that I do, coming from a therapeutic background and space, I kind of felt that it would have been a bit more therapeutic for my families, and the way I think that the way that they came to me to say in December of all months, and it was right. It just felt tactless, I suppose.
Yeah.
Where it would have been nice if they could have come to us in another month, maybe, if we're really coming from a therapeutic mindset. And it's really not even about me, it's about my families, the families that I serve and those that I've built a rapport with. And working with one particular family for 2 years, and then and getting them into this growth in this space that I'm getting ready to walk out of their lives. But when the company says, we're going to cut you short a couple months, well, therapeutically speaking, it's not conducive to the infant that I've been working with, the mother that I've been working with, for me to just eject myself a couple of months early. So yeah, I'm a little pissed off.
And it's such a tough month. I mean, everyone in the mental health world knows that the holidays like this are hard for a lot of people. And, here you've come in and planted those seeds and you're tending to this garden and, oh, nope, sorry. Gotta go.
No,
that definitely, if I can see why you use such strong words. It's like this, rip away, rather traumatic thing. That's so unfortunate when things like that happen in those ways, that are just painful. Is the word that comes to me.
Having said that, my hope here is to help transform some of that. Maybe talking with some of the upper management systems in hopes that we can help them understand from our space, meaning those of us that are serving the front line, so to speak, where we're out there, we're seeing these families, we're working with them. And as I may see a horse, someone may present to me like one of your paintings, I may see a horse, someone else, they may be seeing a turtle. And so that communication is so vital and so healing, so transformative, that I bring it in. I open up to it. I surrender to it and say, hey, it's okay. I'm mad. I'm angry. I'm livid. However, it's okay. I think in the world that we live in, we so often just want to ignore all that. Not that we should just walk in it and be in that space nonstop, but I think there's a time and a place for moments and to work through that.
Absolutely. And I imagine in the work that you've been doing, excuse me, my throat, little throat chakra clearing going on here.
Did you say throat chakra?
Yeah, throat chakra. Well, it's interesting. I find a lot of times in the work that I do, because my work has got a lot of spiritual roots, that when there's things like this coming up, you're talking about emotions and expression, and sometimes, as I'm touching stuff like that, I find that my throat will kind of want to close up a little bit, and I get to clear that energy, because what I was going to touch on in this is that, some of the work that you have done with the women, I can see how that work you could reflect back into your own experience of this transition and be able to the word that comes to me is mother yourself, but nurture, exactly. And in the realization that it's so important to touch and to feel into these intense emotions that come up around this transition and the way that it's come about and all of that. And yet, we can feel those things without getting stuck in them and letting them weigh us down and hold us back. And that's something that I'm sure you get to, that you've shared over the years in your work. Yes. Yeah. So I heard you say that you acknowledge that you see that it's time for you to move forward. So on some level, it's like this transition, although it could have been much smoother, and I imagine you wish it was in a lot of ways, but it's time for you to move forward. So how do you feel about this moving forward to the next step? And do you have any insight or feelings into what that might be? Like, where are you at with this transition to your next steps?
It's gonna be juicy.
Yeah.
I hope it's juicy.
Of course.
Yeah. So I've got some ideas. I'm hoping to possibly start my own business in terms of coaching, and
Yay.
I sit on the Center for Conflict Resolution board, so I'll continue that. I volunteer my time in restorative justice, helping the community find different ways to, I think, find resolution to unjust situations. I feel so passionate about. So I also hope to just move forward in my civic duty or my calling towards just justice. I think there's so much social injustice out there happening, and I'm incredibly passionate about the people and education, nurturing. So I hope to move forward by starting my own business. That's the hope. I'll need some guidance in that area. Look at the little Ellie. Is she over there? Hi. I wanted to pop in again.
Yeah.
So that's the hope. It will unfold. I think it's going to take some work. It'll take some courage on my end, because I'm so used to working for someone else. I'm incredibly driven, though the uncertainty is there on, well, what's the next step? Well, what do I do? Do I feel comfortable with this? So I'm asking myself all of these questions and just moving through it. So that's where I'm at.
You know, I love how, thank you for sharing that with us. And I love how these times of big transition where, you know, it's the ending of a job or a relationship or, you know, whatever these big things that, you know, we experience in our lives that are like feel like key cornerstones of our everyday lives. When a big transition happens there, you know, it can bring up so many things, you know, and it can bring up so many intense emotions. But I love that you also reflect how the opportunity that is there, and I can feel and hear your excitement in that opportunity where, you know, you're feeling this call to step into the next levels of your service, and how can you know, do your own work and bring this skill set, this amazing skill set that you've acquired into a new business, into a new format, into a new way of connecting with the world and helping others. Like, it's very clear that service is really big for you, that you love being of service. And the opportunity is there to, you know, dive into all of these deeper questions and reflect on all of these elements of how you can really just bring more of your fire and your magic and your passion to the table. And that kind of questioning and that kind of reflecting has only come up in, you know, I mean, not that it wouldn't have happened otherwise, but it's interesting how that intense transition becomes a catalyst. It becomes such a powerful catalyst for you doing that inner reflecting and taking it to the next level. And, you know, I'm excited for you. I really am. As much as it's a big shift, it sounds really exciting, and I can't wait to see what you do and where you go with this. I'm going to have to follow closely to see where it all heads. Mm-hmm.
You can always come back, and I can always inform you of what happens.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love that. Yeah, we'll have to do another one of these conversations in the future. Once you've you know, moved in some new directions, and like, where did Victoria go with that one?
Whatever happened?
Yeah. Wow. Well, you know, I just have so much appreciation for, I just keep coming back to early in our conversation when you were sharing with me the work that you were doing with these women. And I really got this like vision of, you know, you just like showing up with so much light of hope on board, and people need that so much. And to have someone who knows that things can be all right. And in these, you know, social injustice situations that you were referring to too. That's another thing that's so needed when there's conflict, for someone to show up that knows that there can be resolution and there can be peace, and they carry that energy. That is such a blessing and such a gift that you carry that, you know.
Well, thank you so much. I have to say that when someone is, I love to think about the families that I work with, and they're carrying these heavy burdens on their shoulders. And one of the things that I like to share with them is that as we move through life, we can carry them on our shoulders. All of the burdens, the not having enough money to get the children what they need, or whatever the case is. We can carry that, or we can walk through life dodging it. Or like a duck that takes water, it rolls right off the back. And being still through that darkness has such a lightness to it, and an ability to kind of carve the path for you, almost as if we don't even really need to do anything but to just be. Does that make sense?
It does, and I love that analogy of the words that are in my brain are be the duck, be the duck. You know, it's like you could be like doing all these other things that are just going to cause struggle and challenge. Or, you know, not only does a duck let the water roll off its back, but you just think about the way that they navigate through the water, and they come across something and they don't have to like think about how to deal with it. They just do, you know.
That's kind of how I feel through my life.
Yeah.
Although my struggle was intense, and I was carrying some pretty thick muck, and I still do at times. I try to pick it back up and play with it, and then I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing? Let me throw that away. It's okay, and it's easier to move this way. But so I think because I've moved through so much muck, and I carried so much gunk on my shoulders, and it was so heavy, I just have to just let it go.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, I love that you brought up that point. It's a beautiful point to bring up, is that the challenges that we go through, the intense things that we go through, the struggle and the pushing and the fighting and the stuckness and all of that, those things can be, if we choose to, not only such medicine that we can learn from as we learn how to just be, how to just move through it, how to be the duck, right?
There's some pretty intense work in that too, because
it's huge. But then you've taken that and you've utilized that as helping you understand how to help others. And I can relate so much in the work that I do too. You know, I work with women one-on-one online, and my challenge of going through the dark nights of my soul is what helped me to have the medicine that assists me in helping others to move through their junk too. And then, you know, and be the duck. That's my total takeaway from this. Be the duck.
Love it. Be the duck.
Yeah.
Keep swimming.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Oh, Victoria, thank you so much for joining me and for sharing. And, you know, there's some key ones there, like be the duck and just keep swimming, that I'm going to really remember and carry forward from this conversation. And I just thank you from the bottom of my heart for saying yes, for joining me, for sharing so intimately from your heart about your work and things that are going on for you and your passion. And I really think that we will have to have another conversation along the way down the road. And you can share with us, you know, the next level of where you've moved to.
Love to. Thank you so much for having me, Amber.
Oh, it's been an honor and a pleasure. Absolutely.
Much love.